The new earth is first and foremost a state of mind. The new earth is returning to and living within the natural rhythms and cycles that govern all things. It's essentially a return to natural divine law and the natural divine world. And in order to return to that natural divine world and to reinsert yourself into that natural divine order, you must return to your natural divine state. Friends, it's Amar. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have been able to find your center and stay rooted in the truth of who and what you are during the intensity of these times. I think a lot about this Pema Chodron quote lately, and it says, "You are the sky, and everything else is just the weather." I have a lot of thoughts that I want to share with you, and this may not be a super linear post. This really is just inspired by the questions that I've been asking of myself as I am just watching what's happening in the world, watching what's happening within and within my own experience, observing through my practice of contemplation, having taken some time away from producing content because I felt like I just needed to get really, really quiet and reconnect with the voice of God, with the voice of spirit, with a voice of self, and really just come back to a place that I don't think I've consciously been inhabiting for a while as it relates to my vocational practice, my own practice, my private practice of my own experience and my own life and my own inner landscape. I think that has always been geared towards empowering myself. And several years ago, when I first started my vocational practice, that is my business, I used the tagline self-empowerment through spirit. And I've been thinking a lot about that lately. And excuse me, there are always going to be people who are going to expect someone to save them. There are always going to be people who are waiting for someone to tell them to go or to do or to act or create. There are always going to be people who feel like they need permission or an invitation. And I understand that. Completely, I understand that. I lived my life like that for a long, long time, essentially feeling like I was on the outside of what I wanted, waiting for somebody to open the door and say, "Hey, come on in." And so I understand that and I have compassion for that, but more and more, I have very little patience and very little interest in indulging that perspective. So, in many ways, it is me reclaiming that idea of self empowerment through spirit. And I think that this really is for people who are ready to claim 100% accountability for their life and for their experience. This is for those who are willing and ready to turn within and offer themselves liberation through radical compassion and acceptance. Radical compassion of yourself is what builds the foundation of radical acceptance for others. Even though I may have woken up in a world where suddenly things just feel crazy or strange, or what I wanted isn't what I got, or what I expected isn't what happened, and even still there's a sense of like, okay, I can move forward though, regardless of what's happening out there, regardless of the weather. I am still in charge of my life. I am still the divine sovereign creator of my reality, and I am the one who came here to live as a full expression of the divine, to be the most fully expressed being, creator being that I can be. There's a lot of talk about ascension. There's a lot of talk about the new earth. To me, ascension is essentially liberation. The new earth is first and foremost a state of mind. The new earth is returning to and living within the natural rhythms and cycles that govern all things. It's essentially a return to natural divine law and the natural divine world. And in order to return to that natural divine world and to reinsert yourself into that natural divine order, you must return to your natural divine state. And your natural divine state is that of a powerful creator being animated by the divine force. You are God in a body. And this idea of the new earth is not exclusive. It is open and available to all. For those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, the path is open for those who can see it. So it's not exclusive, but there are requirements. If you're going to live a liberated life, which is what the new earth requires, then there are standards that must be met. And while those standards are universal, what they mean for each individual is relative. We all have our own pack of stuff to sort through. My granny used to say, we all have our own row to hoe. So this is for those who, even though they may not fully consciously understand the mechanism of creation and being a creator, they know that they are a powerful creator and that they are ready to create on purpose. If you are looking for a savior, I'm not your guy. If you're looking for someone to tell you what to do, I am not the leader for you. I am here to support you in reclaiming your power. I am here to walk with and guide and lead those who are ready and who are actively creating the life that they wish for themselves and for the world. If you're sitting waiting for someone to save you, you're not going to be satisfied by this video. The truth is that your power is now. Your freedom is now. Your ascension is now. The new earth is here. Your life is now. It's now. You are literally living it as you listen to this. The heart that is beating within your chest and the breath that you are drawing into your lungs and the blood that is pumping through your veins is happening now. God is not tomorrow. Spirit is not yesterday. The divine cosmic force is absolute. It simply is. It is now and forever. It is eternal. And you exist as a part of that. You exist within that. It's now, not tomorrow, not when this specific set of circumstances are satisfied, not when the to-do list is checked off, and when the systems that you expected to take care of you begin to fail. That is a clear sign that you're being called to reclaim your authority. Do you work for a system, or should the system work for you? You are here because Spirit wanted you to be. You were granted a soul and a body and a timeline and a purpose and a group of helpers, of beings who are here to support you, to work with, through, and around you in this lifetime and beyond. You are here because you are worthy. You are worthy because you are. Do you need somebody to tell you that you matter for it to be true? The time is now. The time is now to decide what you want and figure out how to get it, to ask for the support, to ask for the path to be revealed. You are God in a human-sized body. You are the infinite, eternal, unnameable in something that is designated as a human incarnation, as an individuation of the one, like a wave erupting from the ocean. This is your moment, because eventually that wave is going to peak and crest and then return to the ocean. But while you are animated, while you are here, while you are having the experience of God being able to look at itself through you, this is your time. This is your time. You have been granted the same ability to create and recreate your reality. Your external world is just your inner thoughts, beliefs, feelings, and vibration flipped outward into a physical manifestation so that you have something to reflect upon. That's how reality works. You define and create your world, not the other way around. Do you hear me? You define and create your world, not the other way around. And nothing can appear or manifest in your external reality if it does not exist within you already in some way. You do not need permission or an invitation to live in active ascension. Ascension is not happening beginning, middle, end on a specific date. It is available now. It is a choice. It is a decision to say, I am going to live as one who is consciously returning to union with self and spirit. That's what ascension is. As the unification deepens, codependency becomes interdependency and separation becomes reunion. And as you continue to reunite and unify with that which you are, you will begin to see your external world reshape and reform itself. And even if you woke up today and the world outside looks pretty much the same, that doesn't mean that you are not actively on the ascension path. Are you waiting for someone to come on the evening news with a broadcast telling you that the new earth is here? Do you expect tomorrow's headline to read Ascension has begun? It is now. It is a choice. Liberation is chosen. Liberation is claimed. It is not granted. Think about that. To be granted liberation is antithetical to what liberation is. You can decide how you want to move through the world now. You can decide the kind of life that you want to experience and the kind of world that you want to experience it in now. You can decide to start making new choices now. You can decide to start rewriting that internal script that has been telling you who you are and what is available to you and what you're capable of for your whole life. You can choose to start rewriting that now. And nobody is going to give you an invitation. Nobody is going to give you permission. Systems that were built to control are controlling by nature, and they will not grant freedom because that's not what they are designed for. It is the nature of the scorpion to sting, and it is the nature of controlling systems to control. It is the nature of limiting systems to limit. The truth is that as long as you wake up in an individuated experience, as long as you woke up in a body and you can say, oh, look at me, I have hands and feet and eyes and ears and a nose and a mouth, and I can look out and see the experience of life being reflected to me. As long as you are waking up in an individuated experience, you are ascending. Ascension is an eternal process. It is merely the return to the truth of who and what you really are. Beyond the human experience, beyond the mental understandings, beyond the requirements and the expectations of the ego, you sustain. There is an eternal part of you that is always present. The part of you that as this life ends and as this body collapses will continue on until you return to the field of the absolute as the eternal. Basically, until you dive back into the pool of the one, you are ascending. Because when you leave that pool to have an individuated experience, you instantly change your frequency and your plane of reality, and then you begin the process and the journey of returning back to that. So you're always ascending. It can be chosen now. You can validate it right now for yourself simply by saying, I am ascending. Spirit, please reveal to me the path that I am already on. Ascension is liberation, and it must be chosen. It will not happen to you, especially in a reality where we have the experience of free will. You have to choose it. You have to decide that you want it. You have to raise your hand. Yes, eventually all beings will ascend, because eventually all beings will end this current lifetime and then come back in a new experience. And the experience will always change the vibration and change the perspective and enhance the awareness and the consciousness. But you can choose it right now, and you must choose it right now. You must decide that you want it. You must decide that you are ready for a new reality, a new way of living, and then begin to ask yourself, what do I have to do to create this in real time? What do I have to do to experience this through my human lens? It's all a game. It's all an eternal dance. There is no ending and there is no beginning. There is no official spokesperson to announce the kickoff of ascension. Certainly, there are markers on the path to mark your progress and let you know, yeah, you're moving in the right direction. But it's not something you have to wait for. And it's not something you will be invited to. That is the myth. That is the myth, that you have to wait, that you have to see the signs, that you have to see the broadcast on TV, that you have to hear the announcement. It's happening now. Liberation is yours, but you must choose it. You don't have to hold back any longer. Spirit is not asking you to settle. God is not saying, oh, sorry, your heart's desires are too much. That's too big. Sorry, I can't do that. No, you are the plan. Your purpose shapes itself around you. All you have to do is begin. All you have to do is start. There's a proverb that says, begin to weave and God will give you the thread. There's another proverb that says, one of these days is none of these days. One of these days is none of these days. Tomorrow never comes because it's only ever today. How many more times are you going to wait and sit for someone to tell you it's okay to get up and go? It's now, and it's up to you. You have been given the same abilities as the Creator itself, and the Creator is always beckoning you forward, always calling you upward, always giving you an opportunity to expand outward. Start where you are, and the path will open. You are an energy converter. You are an alchemist. Take what you have, no matter where you are. You can begin. So take what you have and begin to turn it into what you want. I'm inspired to share this message because I see so many people sitting around waiting, looking to everyone else. Is it time? Are we supposed to do it now? Is this how we do it? Am I moving it? There's no right or wrong. There's only what you know. There is no judgmental, wrathful being waiting in the sky to punish you or reward you. Really, the only judgment that exists is the ones that you give yourselves, the ones that you mete out to yourself in those dark inner spaces, the pressure that you put on yourself, the amount of intensity that you bring to yourself when you're hard on yourself, the criticism and the judgment that you bring to yourself. That's really the only judgment and criticism that exists. Reality is not punitive. Unconditional love is the force that moves it all. And unconditional love is exactly that. It's unconditional. It is a neutral state. Energy is here to serve, and it is simply awaiting your intention and your instruction. When you see chaos erupting, that is a sign of one thing, that something has collapsed. Because when something collapses, the energy that it held in its geometry, the structure that held that energy in place, once that system or that structure or that geometry collapses, whether it's physical, mental, or energetic, once it collapses, it releases a tremendous amount of energy. We know this. Energy is not created or destroyed, it is only transformed. Matter is not created or destroyed, it is only transformed. So when something falls apart, it releases all of that energy and now it's available. There's a whole lot of chaos right now, which means that there's a whole lot of creative force asking for you to tell it where to go and what to do. You create the world that you live in. You create the reality that you perceive, and it is entirely up to you to decide the life that you want and the kind of world that you want to experience it within, and begin now. If you want to be a writer, you got to write. If you want to be a painter, you got to paint. If you want to see peace on the world, you must be a source of peace. So even though I'm not here to give you permission, and even though I can't save you, and I'm not interested in it, frankly, my life is enough. But if you're looking for an invitation, if you're looking for permission, consider this to be it. It's only ever now. It's now or never. One of these days is none of these days.